Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at the Articulation Gyunei Guss's Jagd Doga, and this is a pretty awesome kit, a very big kit. We'll see in a little bit. I'll give you guys a size comparison. Unfortunately, I don't have the Master Grade Sazabi Verkab built up at the moment. It's all taken apart because I have like a permanent work in progress of working on the resin dress up kit for that. So anyway, I don't have that to compare it for you guys, but I'll give you a couple other kits to compare it to. But basically, it's pretty similar in size to the Master Grade Sazabi Verkab. Not quite as big, but it's definitely right about the size where it should be, which is a very large mobile suit here. So if you're looking for a kit that's very big and bulky, this is definitely going to be it. And so, of course, there's been a lot of criticism coming towards this kit I've seen, and I want to address that over the course of the review as well, just because I think honestly, a lot of it I think is very misguided. I think if you really like the Jagd Doga and you're really excited about having a 100 scale version of this kit, and you get this kit, you're gonna be perfectly fine with it. If you're a little bit hesitant or you're a little bit, not that big of a fan of the mobile suit, you need to go into this kit with the right expectations, I think. We all wish that this would have been a Master Grade. Unfortunately, it's just not. So comparing it to Master Grades, I think it's not really fair because it just isn't a Master Grade. And it's not a high grade either, so saying that it's just a big high grade, the RE line is just not that either. It's different. The RE100 line is quite unique, and I really like it, and I think you just have to be aware of what that is. And if you like that, then you'll like this kit. If you don't really like the concept of the RE line, then you might not really be into this kit. But anyway, we're going to take a look at everything this kit has to offer here. First off, just want to say, as always, a huge thank you to US Gundam Store for sponsoring the review. Guys, do check the link to their site down below. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10 and pick up this kit for yourself if you're interested, or whatever else. You can use that coupon code for anything there on their site. So let us get a look at, first off, what everything that comes with this kit. Okay, so there are a few foil stickers on the kit, and we'll talk about those when we check out the articulation, but you do also get a set of just marking decals here. I haven't really used any of these, but you can use these if you want for the eyes. You get foil stickers there for the eyes, for the crest on the head as well. I think the foil stickers will probably end up looking better if you do end up wanting to use the stickers for those, just because they're more thick in color and brighter, I think. So like the white, I think if you use these will probably be a little bit dull, and the foil stickers I think will probably stick better in that little bit as well. So the rest of these are just regular marking logos, some Neo Zeon logos and things like that. You get a action base adapter. You get your 6 clear plastic rods for the funnels. These are 28 centimeters long. And then you have a couple of clear adapter pieces for the funnel effects. So this piece you can see is where the rods will plug into. This just plugs directly onto the backpack. Or if you'd rather plug this onto an action base, you just plug this part onto there, and then this can plug onto the side of an action base 4. Now if you're using a different action base, I don't think that it will have those hard points to plug this onto. You would have to end up modifying that for it to work. Then we have the shield, which is very nicely detailed. As you can see, a lot of detail on that. It's the same with the kit as well. The yellow part there feeds through the black part to make that cool Neo Zeon logo there on the front, and then you have a separate gray piece on the back. There is a bit of movement there in that it will move up and down, but it's not really going to be very useful, honestly, on the arm. It's just going to plug onto the back of the arm, and that's pretty much it. It is missing a little bit of color there, and that these little verniers are supposed to be in red, but otherwise it's really nice. And then you've got the beam saber / heat knife. Now the beam saber, you've got 2 clear yellow beam effect parts for this, but you only need 1, so you'll have an extra one. And that just plugs into there like that for the beam saber portion of it. The heat knife would be the forward portion of that, so that you can use that. But if you want to have this stored, this does store into the side skirt. You just slide that smaller handle back a little bit, then fold the forward handle down to collapse it like this. Then on the side skirt, you'll just open this up by pulling off that part like that. Stick that in there and then just close it back up. There you go. Really not the most convenient storage place, as it's kind of a pain to have to take that whole part off if you want to take it out, so I honestly would just not keep it in there. And then finally, the beam rifle. This thing is super cool and very big as well. So you have a couple of stickers on here. You have the pink stickers for the camera there, and then at the front, and then this big red sticker which wraps around that part. Honestly, that one doesn't really look too good. Really would have been nice if that was a separate part to go on there, because we do have a few parts in red on this kit, so giving one little extra yellow or red circular part to just plug on the front of there really would have been nice. That is my one complaint about this, but otherwise it's a really cool looking beam rifle. You have this little part there at the back, does move up and down like that if you need it, but otherwise that's it. It doesn't really store anywhere on the kit. You could just hold it in the hand or not at all, but it looks really cool. Alright, now the other stickers on the kit are basically just here on the head. Like I said, you have a set of stickers for the bird eyes there, and then one for the main mono eye inside there as well. And that's it for the stickers. So all in all, I think the color separation on this is really quite nice. You have red up inside the thrusters here, there. In the vents here on the side binders, you have red in the gray, and then little bits of gray poking out here and there as well. Here on the back, again, red inside all of the thrusters. It's separate pieces, separate piece in here in the back skirt as well. Separate little gray piece for that little detail right there in the front of the leg. So all in all, there might be a couple little points where it's missing tiny little bits of color, like, I don't know, maybe this thruster bell here like in the center of the back skirt or something, but really, overall, it's pretty much all there, so it's really pretty nice. Honestly, the most glaring flaw for me would be in terms of the seam lines. Now, the RE100 line is pretty well known for having very minimal seam lines, and that's one thing that I really like about them. They're really easy to paint because you just don't really have much in the way of seam line removal. Now on this, you have a little bit here on the back of the leg. There'll be a little bit right there at the top, and then this one, like this center panel there at the lower section, it's a kind of a seam line there. You could just make that a panel line if you want. But then here on the back of the feet, you can see seam line going down the center of that part there. One here on the backpack, this line right there. And then on the top of the shoulder, seam line going through the center of the top of the shoulder there. So those are unfortunate. Considering that one thing, just considering the fact that just for me personally, because I really like the fact that the RE100 line is so minimal in the seam lines, to see a few like that on this kit, they're really not that bad. It won't be that big of a deal to have to remove those, but it just would have been nice if Bandai wouldn't have made those there. Now on with the articulation. So the head will go up to really only about there. It can't really go any farther up just because of the helmet out to the back, just hitting the backpack. And this particular funnel keeps wanting to fall out. The other ones stay in place fine, and they're not falling out, but just this one keeps wanting to fall out. Anyway, the head will go down to there, not too bad, just kind of pretty standard in there. It does turn side to side, but of course the beak of that is going to be running into the hoses there inside there, so you're not going to really have too much to do with the head, but I think it's enough to move side to side. You can also remove the faceplate and turn the mono eye side to side there as well, so even if you can't turn the head, you can just turn the mono eye to make it look like he's looking off more to the side like that, so I think it's not too bad. In the stomach section, you do have a little bit of forward and back ab crunch there. It's not really a whole lot, and I feel like just because of the weight of the whole thing, you're probably not going to really want to do a whole lot with that, or it's not going to be able to hold that very well, but there is a little bit of articulation there. And then of course a little bit of rotation side to side. Again, not a whole lot, but there's enough. The side binder is just on a ball joint, so you can move that around as you need, and then the shoulder joint, the shoulder armor will move up and down on its own. You can bring the arm up if you move the binder out of the way to about 90 degrees. That's about it. But again, with this big binder there on the side, you're really not gonna expect it to be able to go up too much higher than that, although it would have been nicer to have a little bit more vertical movement there. Rotation at the top of the arm, and then the joint in the elbow is going to give you a pretty nice bend. It's really only about 90 degrees, but just because of the shape of the arm, it looks plenty enough of a bend there. The front skirt armor will move up and down. Those are combined like that. The side skirts, though, because of that hosing there, will only be able to move up and down just a very slight amount. The back skirts as well can move up and down just a little bit like that as well. For his big giant bell-bottom legs, you can get those out to the side, about there until the side skirt pops off, but I just want to test the weight of that, so we'll put it up there and then see how that's gonna fall down. It's drooping a little bit. As you can see, if I move it up to there, it's going to droop down a little bit, but really not too bad. I think you should be able to hold this in an aerial pose without it drooping too badly, but over time I have a feeling like it probably will start to droop down over a while if you don't have it glued in place. The leg will go forward to about there, but again, it's going to be drooping a little bit, so you can't really stay in that all the way extended position. But you got a double joint there at the knee, giving you just a little bit more than 90 degrees. Again, not a lot, but enough. At the ankles, you have a little bit of a bend there side to side, a little bit of movement forward and back like that. Again, some nice detail up underneath the feet there. No red part to go inside this thruster bell up underneath the side of the leg there, though, unfortunately. Alright, and posing this kit up on action base, I can definitely feel the restrictions of the articulation and the weight of this kit definitely putting a little bit of a toll on it. Although, as you can see, you can still get in some not bad poses for sure. I think you'll see that over the course of the rest of the review here as we try out a few more different poses. So I think it's definitely limiting. I won't deny that the weight and the articulation of this kit is going to be a little bit limiting, but again, the RE100 line has been pretty well known for that. The other thing you may have noticed as we were going through the accessories is the lack of any other hand options for the kit. So all that you get with this kit is just the 2 holding hands, and that's it, unfortunately. But again, same with all the other RE100 kits. And another thing I do have to admit that I was wrong about is that that little point of articulation in the connection of the shield actually is kind of useful for bending the shield a little bit, either forward or back, depending on how you want it to be posed. Just considering the shield is so big and you have the side binders also kind of getting in the way when you're trying to move things around. Depending on the pose that you want to do, that little tiny bit of articulation in the connection to the shield actually is a little bit helpful. Alright, and so for a size comparison, here it is with a 1/100 scale gym, and as you can see, it's a very, very large kit. So while yes, this kit does cost a lot at 4,500 yen, you'd think, wow, that's like the cost of a master grade. Just the sheer amount of plastic that you get in there is going to be the reason as to why this kit costs so much. It's very large. And again, I'm sorry guys that I can't show you how this looks next to a Sazabi, but I'm just going to show you this image from dalong.net, and you can see for yourself there how it compares with that. It's very large. But I also just want to show you guys this, how it compares with the high grade. Now, as you guys know, I really like this high grade, and there's pros and cons to both of them. Obviously, the high grade is much cheaper. It's, I think, list price around 2,000 yen, if I remember correctly. So it's less than half the price. But again, you are missing a lot of the color apps on there. You're missing a lot of detail. So if you wanted a kit with a lot of detail, the high grade basically has very little to no surface detail on it. In terms of the seam lines, they're actually honestly kind of matched. They both have the backpack seam line. They both have seam lines on the legs. The high grade doesn't have the seam line on the back of the feet, so points to the high grade. And the high grade doesn't have a seam line on the top of the shoulder, so points to the high grade again for that one. So it kind of evens out. So in terms of what I would put down as the definite negatives of this kit, it really just goes back to what I said at the very beginning of the review, that it's all about managing expectations, where if you compare this to all the rest of the RE100 kits, you know, they all pretty much share a lot of the same pros and cons that this kit does, so it really shouldn't come as too much of a surprise what the pros and cons of this kit are going to be. That said, I do think that it's a little bit disappointing that there are some seam lines on this kit that are not bad, but they're there, where I think other kits in the line did a better job of hiding all the seam lines on them. That's pretty much it, other than just kind of the lackluster articulation and a little bit of problems with the weight. But otherwise, I mean, the detail on this kit is really nice. Just the size and bulk of it is really nice as well. While I do kind of prefer the proportions of the HG, the proportions are a little bit different for this version, and I prefer the proportions of the HG. This one is definitely not bad. And then there's the accessories as well. I think they're really quite nice, and it comes with everything that you would really want it to come with. It doesn't come with an action base, but again, no other RE kit does. It would have been nice to have a separate little red part for the beam rifle, and then maybe a separate red part for the shield as well that would consist of the 4 verniers on there, just a separate piece to fit behind the black part on that. I think that also could have been done as well, so that is maybe one thing that could have been improved for this kit. But overall, I think it's not bad at all. And then real quick, how to use the funnel. Basically, you just push in this part there on the back, and that spreads out the bits there on the side, and also pokes the barrel out the front there like that, and you can just plug your effect part just straight into the back of there for the clear rod to have that flying around in space. Alright, and then just to wrap up the review, I had to try out the clear effect parts for this, and what I actually did was just take 2 of the beams and just cut them in half, so it's just 4 halves there that I'm using for this, and then actually bent them by using a hairdryer to heat them up so that I didn't have just hard bends in the plastic, but it's slightly curved. You could work on that some more. I just did it just a little bit just to get the effect, just so you guys could see that. Of course, you could use the full length of them as well if you wanted to have them flying around farther away from the body, but I just wanted to try it out. They work pretty well, they work fine, and yeah, it's not bad at all. One cool thing about the high grade is that you actually plug the effect parts into the funnel racks, so it looks like the funnels are actually shooting straight off of the racks, and I think they really could have done something like that with this kit as well. I don't really know why they didn't do the same thing like they did with the high grade, but what we get here, again, it works fine if you really want to use that. So that's pretty much going to be it for the review, guys. Hopefully I covered everything. Hopefully I set some of the records straight for anyone who was maybe having their some hesitation about this kit. There's definitely pros and cons, I'll admit that for sure, but just if you know what you're getting yourself into, then I think you won't be disappointed with this kit. But if it's something that you don't think is really going to be for you, then that's fine. I think it's definitely a passable kit as well. It's a pretty big kit and a little bit expensive kit, so it's not going to to be for everyone. But if you really like the way that this looks, then I'd say just go ahead and pick one up. So again, thank you to USA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And if you do still have any other further questions or comments, as always, guys, feel free to leave those down in the comment section below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.